Hello everybody, mrjakmole here. Welcome back to World of Tanks. Today I will be doing a review of the Stug 3G, otherwise known as the Stug 3 Osif G in World of Tanks. This tank is the top Stug if you disclude the Stug 4. The Stug is actually a very good German TD, tank destroyer, and was originally built at the beginning of the war as an assault gun. Basically what they would do is they took the chassis of a Panzer III. The reason why you can tell it's a Panzer III is you take these road wheels, divide them by 2, and if it's 3 then it's a Panzer III, if it's 4 then it's a Panzer IV. The Stug 3 was originally designed as an assault gun. Like I said, they took the Panzer III chassis, took off the turrets, and added a superstructure with a gun. Usually the gun was a lot larger than the standard Panzer IIIs. For example, this is the 105mm gun. They've also added mainly 75mm guns, and World of Tanks does do this thing justice. How you get this thing is another problem. You have to go through the German tank destroyer line, through the Marder II, Marder 38T. I happen to get my Stug 3 differently. I actually got this before they added the Stug 3B. But basically what I did is I actually went through the Hetzer and got the Stug 3B, or Stug 3G. Now in the game you do have multiple gun upgrades for the Stug. The one I'm using right now is the 105, which is basically the derp gun. A derp gun is basically when you have tons and tons of damage, for example 350 average damage, but lackluster penetration, 64mm of average penetration for standard armor piercing. 75mm on the other hand, such as this one, I like to use these ones. The reason why I have this 105 is just to have fun. Basically, this gun is really the gun you should be striving to get if you want to do good in this tank. Regularly. That's the thing. You can do good with the 105, but not on a basis that would get you to the next tier. And the 75mm has 135 average damage, while 150 average penetration. So it's very decent gun for tier 5. And that's the thing about this. This is a really good tank destroyer for tier 5. It has a very low silhouette, which allows you to camouflage pretty much anywhere. Unfortunately though, it does not have the best armor. It has only 80mm in the front, 30 inside, and 50 at the rear. It's one of the only tanks in the game that I know that actually has better rear armor than side armor. So, what is this thing really good at? Well, excellent gun, as I said, excellent silhouette. It also has an excellent speed. It says 40 kph, but it really does very much better. The thing is though, don't excuse that speed as a way to jump forward ahead of your teammates. You really want to stay back, you really want to get into cover, use camo, use bushes, whatever concealment you can, to really maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of this tank. It has a 47 degrees per second traverse speed, which is really nice for a TD. Usually they don't give them that good traverse speed. 440 horsepower engine. Very light, 23.66 tons, at least for a tank. You know, I know that sounds like a lot, but for a tank that's actually really nice. So, 350 hit points. This thing cannot take many hits. Like I said, the way you want to play this is try and get onto some sort of hill where you can see a lot of places. Hopefully it'll have concealment / cover, and you'll be golden. You really will be if you can get into that sort of position. Don't use this thing's speed as an excuse to get in front of your teammates and rush ahead, because you will die. I've seen it happen so many times. Now you may be asking, hey, if they made a Stug 3, why didn't they make a Stug 4? Actually, they did and they didn't. Basically what happened was they wanted to make a Stug 4 because the Stug 3 was really, really good, and they thought, hey, why not add a Stug 4, you know, upgrade it a bit. In the game there is a Stug 4, but the only way you can get it is through personal missions. There it is. I unfortunately do not have any of these missions completed. I have a few, but they really aren't all that. It's really hard to get. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's a tier 5, and it has a very good gun. But they also have a closest equivalent, which is the Jagdpanzer IV, a tank in which I notoriously do not like. And I have to say this right now. If you're wanting to get the Stug 3 and you want to move on, try and look ahead. Because this thing will give you, well, it basically give you headaches all the time. It's a very bad tank. But this is not a review of the Jagdpanzer IV. This is a review of the Stug 3. Now, you get past the Jagdpanzer IV, you get to the Jagdpanther, then you can either get the Ferdinand, the Jagdpanther 2, the Jagdtiger, or the Jagdpanzer E100. So historically, the Jagdpanzer IV design was chosen instead of the Stug 4. No idea why. I think it has to do with the fact that they could be produced more and that they had better armor. That's all I can say. And you could add bigger guns. That's all I can think of. So historically, that's it for the Stug 3. It was used pretty much through the entire war and was well liked by its crew. It really was a really, really good tank, and they produced a ton of them during the war. So, how does this thing do in game? Well, we're about to see. Before I go out, I'm going to redo my ammunition. I'm going to try and get the 75mm back. In terms of research, you really want to do the guns first. As much as you can. You might have to upgrade the suspension. I think you do. Then get the engines, then possibly this. Because it is a lot better if you get the guns first and then try and do everything else. In playstyle, this is very similar to the Hetzer, and you'll see that when we get in the game. So this appears to be a tier 6 game. Yes, okay. Basically, this thing is really, really good in tier 6 games. It just does a lot better penetration, very good damage for its tier. Like I said, this is a really fantastic gun on this tank.
Time to roll out.
Okay, notice I'm not rushing ahead. You will get killed a lot that way. Trust me. I used to be a noob playing this tank, and it's not fun. The funnest way to play this tank is to go up to this hill and pretty much use all the concealment and camo so that the enemy don't see you, and snipe them from afar. And then if they do see you, use the speed to get away. That's the key thing, is using the speed not as an assault technique, but as more of a defensive technique. This looks like a pretty good position. Although my gun depression does not allow me to see down the hill. A little concerning.
Enemy armor is hit.
There we go. Ooh, I'm gonna take this bits. Yeah, this is not a very good position. Ooh. That was artillery, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of want to watch out for that too as a tank destroyer. Try not to tunnel vision. Be aware of where you are, who's detecting you and whatnot. This is a very good position. Although that Panther 3 is right there, it could be spotting me. Now you may notice in the bottom where my ammo is at, I am using a camouflage net. Basically, when this thing is standing still for about 4 or 5 seconds, the camo net will go online, and basically what it'll do is reduce your visibility. Basically, it's like putting a bush in front of your tank. It does reduce the visibility, and it's overall a very good thing to have when you're sniping. It's a much more passive way of playing. It's not very active. You do have to wait. It's a bit like fishing and hunting, more than running and gunning. T-67's probably long gone, although I'm not sure where he went. There he is. Notice my breathing. I'm a little tense. Our 3001D is actually going up there, and he's dead. Okay, now the flank over here has got a lot of enemies. We pretty much won that flank, so I'm going to go around and try and support. And that's the thing about TDs. Most TDs are very good at support. The only TDs that I can even think of that could be in an assaulting role are the British TDs, because they have notoriously huge amounts of armor. That's the thing about the Stug 3G's speed. It's a pretty speedy little tank. It can get across the map very easily. Hopefully I'm not going to be spotted. I see the KV-1 moving over to his position. The Stug 3 stalks its prey as it waits behind the bush, waiting to pounce. There he is. Oh, really? The rear armor of his tank, and I can't even penetrate that. There we go. Backing up now because he does have a very dangerous gun. He's probably a little irritated looking for some kills. There he is. So he sees me, he's going to come up and try and fight me. He's going to come up this road right here. Although he is playing it a little smart, he's waiting for me to jump out, although I'm not going to. Here he comes. Meanwhile, help is on the way. Oh!
This vehicle is had it.
Where did he come from? Well, that should show you something, folks. TDs are very sneaky, sneaky little tanks. But we've pretty much won this game. I don't think there's any way we're gonna lose. Scores are 14-7. There's only the KV-1 left and this A43. Ooh, or maybe not. Maybe the ARL will finish him off. And that's game. Victory. Now it is a ×5 weekend, so results may vary, but I got 1,410 XP with 10,180 credits. Very nice. Pretty good result. Not top of the team, but I have gotten very, very nice results with this tank. So, is this a tank that you should go down and get? Well, the German tank destroyer line, the standard tank destroyer line, because there's now two. There's the standard and then there's the lightly armored, huge gunned ones. The German standard tank destroyer line is really, really nice in the game. It does lead you to the Jagdpanther, another good, great tank destroyer. I mean, it has the Hetzer. Hetzer's gonna Hetz. And the Stug 3G, which has a really, really good... This is a really, really good tank. Jagdpanther 2, great tank destroyer. Jagdtiger, great tank destroyer. Jagdpanzer E100, great tank destroyer. This is a line of great tank destroyers, and this certainly is one of them. It does have a little brown spot, but that can be quickly stamped out. So, I would recommend this tank for people who want a more passive supporting role instead of a more active carrying role in the game. And as I've said, your strategies are, number 1, don't rush ahead. Number 2, find a... I would recommend a hill. Someplace where you can see an open part, you know, see in the open. Like, for example, be in a position where you can see a field. Don't be in the field. That's number 3. Don't be in a field. Don't be in a open area, because you will die. Number 4, use concealment and pretty much the natural terrain to not only shield your tank, but also to shield it from them viewing it. Bushes and concealment actually are counted in the game, and basically they reduce your risk of being spotted by the enemy. However, that does vary. I think it's up to 50 meters. If they're 50 meters away, they will automatically spot you no matter what you are. And for that reason, I actually use the camo net. It's very, very good, and especially on this, I even use it on the Jagdpanther. Considering it has a low silhouette, that basically means it's harder to spot you than other tanks. So use that to your advantage. Very much a sniping role for a tank. Tank destroyers generally in the game are like that. Like I said, the only real exceptions are the British tank destroyers, because they have outrageous amounts of armor with a very meh gun, you know, which is only, I think that's the only tank destroyer line in the game that has a very meh gun. So, yeah, I would recommend this tank to people who are more passive and supportive. Anyways, guys, please like the video if you liked it. Comment below if you want to see any of my other tanks or their past incarnations. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like these pop up daily, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for watching. Angle your armor, drive safe, and please use your map.